Now batting for the Reds, number 44, the shortstop, Ballentine.
Here are your hosts, Ricky Logan and Roger Straz.
Hey, welcome to the Red Hot Reds podcast. I'm Roger, that's Ricky. It's Thursday at 8 p.m.-ish, and we are live, and we are glad that you joined us. We are recapping a little bit of the week, the offseason stuff for the Reds, and talking about the Arizona Fall League with a guy who luckily lives in Arizona and can be basically our insider at the Arizona Fall League and all things going on with ACL complex, all that good stuff. A guy that you've seen on the show multiple times. I think he's been in 3 or 4 times on the show. One of our favorites, one of our good friends, also with the All Gloves Off sports media venture that we're doing, has his own show, Lights Out podcast on Tuesdays. We'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Mike Ballentine.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Hey, technology works.
No clapping needed, please.
Yeah, well, welcome to the show, Mike. It's been a while since we talked to you. I feel like it was June, July. I know we kind of crossed over a little bit with some watch-alongs and whatnot, but I don't think you've been on this show in a little while. How's it been?
It's been good, man. I haven't been on the A show for quite some time, right? Oh.
Yeah, well, we have you here because you spent some time in your, kind of home stadium. I don't know exactly where you live, but I mean, they got stadiums all over Phoenix, right? Like in Mesa, and they got some in
Mesa, Surprise. You got you got Goodyear here for the Reds. I mean, you got I believe 13 stadiums in the general area and none of them are more than 30 minutes away from me.
Yeah,
there's a reason I live out here.
Nice. That's nice. I'm lobbying already to tell my wife we have to retire in Arizona so we can watch baseball all year round, it's kind of crazy because baseball doesn't stop down there, right? Like it goes from spring training all the way through the Arizona Fall League that we're going to talk about right now. And you got to see it up close and personal with the fall balls or fall all-star. What is it called? Fall Stars game?
The Fall Star game. There we go. Woo.
So how was that experience?
So I know that I told you all that I was going to go, but I didn't.
Oh,
and I'll tell you why. I told you a little bit in the beginning when we were doing this off air. I was like, I'm not sure if you're going to like this or not, but I have a beef with the Arizona Fall League right now. I love it because of the exposure that it gets, the fact that you can sit anywhere when you get there, right? A lot of the players are just they're literally right there. I'll tell you a couple stories from a couple of the games that I went to. But I'm getting ready to leave, and I ask, okay, no, she's not in this room. So I was like, crap, I can't do it if she's in this room. But I asked Alexa, right? I was like, okay, Alexa, how much is it going to cost me to get into the Fall Stars game? Because I couldn't find anywhere on prices anywhere. The cheapest ticket to that game was $37. I was like, what? $37 to go watch a bunch of kids that nobody's ever heard of before, but maybe the 3 of us, right? No, I don't. I was like, you know what? So I looked at my wife. My wife was all like, really? You're going to go spend $37? And this one is in Mesa. So for me, it's about an hour drive. Okay. And she's like, really? You're going to go spend the money on the gas to go to get something to eat, to grab something while you're there? Because I'm fat and, I'm not going to be able to be there and not eat something, right? So I said, you know what, baby, hang on. Let me see what parking costs. If parking's under $10, I'm going to go. If parking's over $10, I'll stay here and spend the night with you. And she was like, oh, well, okay, let's do that. So I asked Alexa, right, how much is it going to cost me to park at Sloan Stadium for the game tonight? $25 a car. I'm like, holy crap. So you want me to go to there, pay $25 to park, and then pay $37 minimum to get into the place? And then, I'm going to spend $100 on this before it's all said and done for a night. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Okay. Well, I mean that.
I don't blame you there.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. It's not necessarily like a huge event. Obviously, like not a lot of people possibly even know that the fall league's going on. If you're
did you see it on MLB's channel? How many empty seats there were?
Yeah.
You know, so there's a spot, and we'll probably talk about this a little more, but there's always a spot where the scouts all sit.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be full there because those guys, all the teams send scouts to look at those players and everything, which I totally understand. But all those scouts get in for nothing, right? So it's all free to them. So who cares what it costs for the normal fan? To them, they don't care whatsoever. But I do. I did go later on in the week, and like I say, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. I did have some really good experiences in a couple of the games that I went to earlier this week, later on from that day, because that was on Sunday. But I went to Monday and Tuesday, and I liked it, had a really good time, but I didn't pay near that much for the tickets, so I was okay with it.
Yeah, and I guess you didn't really miss too much because in the Fall Stars game, the Reds prospects didn't enter the game until, after a couple innings and didn't play too much. I mean, even Lauder wasn't even slated to pitch. So, like, basically you had, like, three guys. I think it was Balcazar, Deneau, and Collier that were basically there. And, I think it wasn't the situation, though, like, Collier, he did get injured. Was it that game? I can't remember.
Yeah, he got injured in the Fall Star game. That's when he
fouled the ball off his knee.
He fouled the ball off his leg. It looked nasty. And then I saw him the next night. I put this out there on our X account over at All Gloves Off SM where you can get us on Twitter at. I put that out on the game that I went to the Monday following. He was there. He was in street clothes, but he was there. And I asked him, I was like, man, how's the leg? And he's like, I'm probably going to be in the lineup tomorrow. And I said, oh, well, okay. And I've got the phone out and I'm doing stuff. And he looks at me and he goes, are you putting that out on social media or something somewhere? And I was like, yeah, I got my own account and I flip the phone around and show him. And he's looking at stuff and he's actually going through my feed and everything. And I talked about you guys and he's like, oh, okay. So he's like, don't put that out there. He says, can you just put out there that like I'm in street clothes or something like that? And that's fine. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So that's what he asked me to do. So I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I've got the scoop, right? So,
inside information.
Yeah, insider stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so he ended up signing for me. Duno ended up signing for me because that's what I'm going for. I love the game itself, but, you can kind of sort of see it. That's not even a quarter of the collection. I have probably a good 250 to 300 cards in this room that are all autographed, and the majority of them are Reds players and prospects. So I got two more Colliers that I'm going to add to my list. And I got a Duno card that I'm going to add. I got autographs from both of them. Lauder wasn't there either game. In fact, I finally asked the bullpen guys because, I don't know how much you guys know me pretty well. Your audience might not, but I literally walked right up to the bullpen and I was like, okay, so I'm looking for Lauder. I'm looking for this guy. I'm looking for this. Where are these guys at? And none of the Reds bullpen people were there Monday or Tuesday. And they're like, no, they're all gone. You won't see them anymore. So I'm like, oh. Well, all right. So if they're all gone, then I don't really care, and that we're all good.
So like he's going back home. I'm guessing. Like is that what you're trying to say? Like he's done with Arizona.
From what I gathered, he was at the complex. So he was at Goodyear's complex because the one guy said if you want to get a hold of him, you might try the complex. I think he's still there. I was like, oh well, I don't really need to go all back there because they're a little funny about that kind of stuff. You show up at the complex, and it's not like they don't know what we're trying to do, right? It's not like I'm showing up to watch them do batting practice on the back fields or something. They know we're showing up trying to get autographs and stuff. So a lot of times they either close it down or they just shoo you away before he gets out there anyway. So it's not much of a chance to get anything. But I was trying. Lauder was the guy I really wanted because I have several cards from him. So I was trying to get his autograph. And you guys will figure it out because both of you, and I say it again, both of you are going to come out here during spring training this year, and you'll see that the pitchers are much harder to get autographs for than the hitters are. So I was really trying to get Brett Lauder.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm already looking at the flights. Allegiant's got some directies straight to. It's not Phoenix. It's what's AZA or A? I forget. Anyway, but then there's Mesa. So yeah. So
they have a hub in Mesa, and as you land, you'll be able to see the Cubs Stadium that's in Mesa. So it's all in this general vicinity. It's not very far from me. So if you fly in with Allegiant directly to there, I'll come pick you up and we'll bring you back here and we'll do some stuff together.
Yeah, and the games that you did see, like, was there anything outstanding that happened? I know the Dano has kind of been struggling of late. Were you able to see the game that he hit the triple, or was it a different game?
So I should have. I was stupid. All right, I'll just admit this now. They put out the lineups for every game, and you can go get a photocopy of the lineups for every game. That way, you can sit there and okay, I know who's batting next. I know who's batting next, because there are a lot of people that are there that I even talk to don't know the prospects very well. So you have to have like a list of the prospects, right?
Yeah.
And they had Duno at playing first base. And I got there and I did the same thing you just did. I was like, what? Duno's going to play first base? And it was a misprint. And I should have been smart enough to have him sign the paper where it has his misprint on it, but I didn't. I had a card that I put out a picture. You can go to our spot and see it, but I put out a picture to where I've got both stuff signed. Duno's autograph is just kind of the whoop, and he was done, right? But Collier, as always, I probably got, I'm going to say 10 or 12 Collier autographs now, and he always takes his time and signs everything really nice. So there's a lot of the guys that do that, and I'll tell you a Leo story later on if you want to do that later after the first game that I was at. So a lot of nice things happen, and they interact really well with the kids and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, let's talk about that, because I mean we're big Cam fans. I've never seen anything negative about him as a person anywhere. So like, how is he just talking to in general?
Oh, Cam's great. So I talked to Cam twice during the first game. He played during the second game, so I kind of left him alone. But as I already said, he was in street clothes for the first game.
Yeah.
I was shouting at him back and forth from the stands, and he was on the field with Leo Balcazar on the field, and he was helping him stretch out and stuff like that. And he was literally shouting stuff back at me. I was like, how's the leg? And he's like, oh, it's fine. I'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow. And we're shouting stuff back and forth. And it's kind of like the people who are like, you stink, from one side of the stadium, and you do too, right? That kind of thing. So we were shouting back to the third base line where everybody was warming up. So I don't have a negative thing whatsoever to say about Cam. I really don't have a negative thing to say about any of those prospects in the fall league this year. Everybody was really good. Leo signed for me when they had the breakout game last time, and I thought I still had another card, but I was going through everything, and I'm like, crap, he already signed both of them, so I don't have another card. And I was upset with myself that I didn't go to eBay or go to X or one of those places to get another card. And he would have signed for me. He signed for other people. There was a little kid, and here's the Leo story, right? So there's a little kid. He's probably like 4 or 5 years old, and they had the netting up. We were at Surprise. I'll plug Surprise here. So we were at the Surprise Stadium where the Saguaros and the Javelinas were playing. The Reds play for the Javelina team. And the little kid was small enough to where the little squares of the fence, he was able to put his hand through, right? So he put his hand through, and he kept going, fist bump, and everybody would fist bump him as they go by and everything. And Leo fist bumped him and then stopped, and he said something in a different language. I assume it was Spanish. I don't, I should probably know more Spanish than I do living in Arizona, but I don't. And the guy threw him a ball, and he ended up giving the little boy a ball right there. He signed it and then gave it to the little boy that was doing all the fist bumps and stuff. And that little kid ran up and down the aisle and up and down the aisle. He was just so happy and jumping all around. And it's like, that's what the fall league's about. So that's the great story behind it and what it can accomplish. That little kid is never going to forget the name Leo Balcazar for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what minor league baseball is all about. It's because, a lot of those players, like 90% of them aren't going to see major league time, right? So it's all about. I think
it's a really good percentage of the Arizona Fall League players that are going to see major league time. It's like 73% of them see it.
But I mean, like in general, like minor league baseball altogether, because that's kind of where
I get
you get the most interaction with players would be in the minor leagues as opposed to major leagues. But I like players that do that, because you can make the argument that a lot of fans, a small percentage of fans are in it just to get the autograph to sell it. And Like, you obviously don't do that. You keep it for yourself or pass it down to whoever. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's just doing stuff like that.
Yeah, somebody's going to get rich off the what's behind me. Somebody.
Yeah. Well, is the fall league your favorite part of the baseball that occurs year round in Arizona, or is like the ACL?
No.
Like, well, what's your favorite part of living
Spring
in?
training is my favorite part. I mean, I love spring training, and I'll tell you the reason why it is. Like, okay, so yes, I went. I went to the Arizona Fall League, and there's a few people there to talk to.
I don't know what this is.
Shout out this guy.
Yeah,
Who is
whoever
this?
this guy is, right? That's okay.
Sorry.
So there's the fall league. It used to be $7 for a fall league ticket. It's now gone from, so it was 2 years ago, it was $7. Last year it went up to 12. Now you can also buy a complete pass, and there almost every day there is a day game and then 2 night games, or there's 2 day games and a night game or something like that, right? So you can go, most days you can go to 2 games if you really want to. So like if people would take vacations, and I was talking to a lot of people that were here on vacation, and they came out and watched the Fall Star game, and then because the Home Run Derby was the day before that, so a lot of people came out and they saw their team. And this is the first time that the Arizona Fall League has done those 2 events back to back. Usually one of them is one weekend and the other one is the following weekend. So they try to get people to come out during the weekends. But this year they decided not to do it that way. They put them back to back. I'd love to know from someone, how that went for them as far as their attendance goes. It looked like it did really well, but then does that mean that their attendance for the rest of the games weren't that good? I'm not upset at them. They have to do something like this, but I have my days off from work are Sunday and Monday, and they don't usually do much on Sunday, and then Monday is a day off for them. So it kind of stumped for me this year because I didn't get to see a lot of games. This past Monday, though, they did have games, so that was the week that I kind of targeted, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. They moved up the championship game and everything a couple days. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. It's really supposed to rain out here over the weekend. I mean, they're calling for really nasty weather over the weekend out here. So they moved up everything. In fact, I think the semifinal game is going on right now, I believe. So the Javelinas, the team that Cincinnati plays for, and Leo did it. If you saw it, he got them into this game today. So I don't know. I didn't think to pull it up before I jumped on here, but I believe the game's going on right now.
Yeah, it's an 8:30 start Eastern time, 6:30 for you guys out there Mountain time. But yeah, Leo got the comeback. They were down 7-4 when I saw. I was like, oh man, this stinks. And no, they came back, and Duno had a big home run that contributed to that to win 8-7. That's crazy.
He crushed that ball.
He had, like I said, he had kind of been struggling up until a couple days ago when he hit that triple and had a double, and now he's got that home run. So, hey man, and you saw him. Like, is he as big as everyone says? Is he
huge?
Big guy?
He is huge. I've seen him before. Okay. Again, so that's one of the other things I really like about spring training is they have that breakout game where they bring all the prospects up, right? And for an autograph guy like myself, you're able to stand in a line and they all sit behind a table, and you just go right down the line with all your cards and be like, oh, thank you, as you're going down the line, right? So I got to see how big he was next to other players, like sitting beside of him. And as you're walking up, you're like, oh my gosh, who's the big guy in the center, right? And as you get closer, it's like, are you kidding me? That's Duno. And he, at this point, he was like 18 years old. He's 19 now. And I was like, oh my God, he's 18 years old. Look at this man. And he's a catcher. I got some pretty good shots too of him from behind the plate. And like the umpire standing behind him, and Duno was like, you can see part of him on this side of the umpire and part of him on that side of the umpire. I mean, he is that big of a man standing or crouching down behind the plate. He didn't start that game, but he came in later on during the game. So, a very, very big man. And all the Arizona Fall League guys that are on the team, they love him. They say something to him. It must mean like big man or something like that in Spanish that they say. They call him something. And all of them were calling him that and being like, oh, here comes the big guy or whatever. And like, yeah, he was a big, big man.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, something you probably didn't know too. Leo played shortstop in both the games I was there, so I thought that was kind of interesting. They have Leo Balcazar playing shortstop.
He's been all over the place. He was doing a lot of third base at the beginning of the fall league, and it was raising questions because like he hadn't played third base since he was back in Daytona in 2023, I think it was it. And then he got him in second base sometimes, shortstop a little bit now. And we got a lot of shortstops, and he's potentially one of the guys that's going to get protected by possibly being added to the 40-man roster.
Yeah, the rule so the Rule 5 draft doesn't get him. Yeah,
because they seem to like him a lot. He's 21. He's been hitting pretty well, and fall league's cooled off a bit. But yeah, they like him a lot.
He is on the 40-man roster now, but Edwin Arroyo got taken off. In fact, I think they put Balcazar on it and took Arroyo off. I think that was the transaction that was used.
Yeah. I'll look into that. I know they have to make their decisions by Tuesday, I think, next week. So it's coming up. You're going to probably see a bunch of transactions with regard.
Yeah, we're going to add 9 more catchers before the.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah. So I don't know if you got any more thoughts on the Arizona Fall League or anything like that. The guys.
I mean, I had a really good time. It was nice. The one thing I'll ask the two of you, maybe, I know this is not my show, this is your show, but I mean, you got Balcazar on the infield, right? It's okay. All right, good. I appreciate it. You got Balcazar on the infield there. You got Collier over at first base. Where are these guys going to play? I mean, if they're in the Arizona Fall League, that means the Reds think something of them, right? They think pretty highly of them. So if they do think highly of them, you've got Steer, you've got maybe even Stevenson at first base. You've got Sal Stewart over at first. Where's Collier going to play? You're not knocking Key Brian Hayes out. You just traded for him, right? He's not going anywhere. Ellie's not going anywhere at shortstop. McLean, I don't know how much of a leash they're going to give McLean this upcoming season, but can Balcazar play second? Can Collier play second? Can we move Steer to second? Which is, I mean, I have a whole shelf of Matt McLean over here where I've got all kinds of stuff signed by him. I love him, but if he's not going to do well, then we've got to make a decision about Matt McLean. And what do you guys think about, where's Collier going to play? Where's Balcazar going to play? And I guess here's the follow-up to this, right? If they don't have a spot for him to play and we like them and they're already touted prospects, shouldn't the Reds be the team now that says, okay, we're going to start trading our prospects for a really good major league player instead of the opposite that it's been going on forever? We trade our major league players for prospects that we just cross our fingers on and hope they're going to do something.
Yeah.
I kind of have maybe a couple hot takes in here, but I do think that McLean's leash is going to be shorter this year. We've heard comments from Brad Meter at the GM meetings here this week that Steer is going to look at playing more position flexibility, and that he's going to play in the outfield more, second base, first base. And it looks like first base is probably going to be Sal Stewart's this coming year. But like my hot take is it feels like they're kind of hyping up Steer to maybe get some trade value out of him, to be like this utility guy that they could move and get an actual position guy, because Steer's offensive numbers aren't first base worthy. His defense is good, but some of the aspects of first base he's not good at. He's not good at scooping. He's arguably the worst first baseman at scooping. But I like Steer. 2 years ago, he almost had 100 RBIs. So I mean, like he can drive guys in, but he's the older crop of the core. What is he going to be, 28 this coming year?
Yeah.
So he's going to be in arbitration, I believe, after next season. He goes into arbitration, I believe. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be decisions to be made there, because same thing with TJ Friedl. TJ Friedl turns, I think, 30 this year, 31. And he's going to be going into arbitration after next year too, I believe. So like, there's going to be, you don't want to go into arbitration with a 30-year-old center fielder who's potentially on the decline. But he's a serviceable center fielder that you might get some trade value out of. So like there could be discussions there. But I think my biggest decision of like, what are they going to do with Tyler Stevenson? Because there hasn't been any talk about an extension. Next season is his final year of his contract. So, like, what are they going to do with him? They just claimed the catcher from the Dodgers off waivers. They extended Trevino in spring training.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do with Stevenson? Because, like, you can't have 3 catchers. Like, they proved that in 2023 because they had Kurt Casale and Stevenson. And
but you can have a catcher that plays multiple positions, right?
Yeah, but they've also said that Stevenson doesn't like playing first base. So, like, he wants to catch. So, like what do you do?
I'm a boss. I mean, I think you guys are bosses at what you guys do. I don't really care what people like to do. I mean, if I'm Francona or if I'm the front office, I'm like, oh, you don't like playing first base? Okay, we won't make you. No, by golly, we're paying you. You'll play where I tell you to play, right? Isn't that kind of what the Reds have to do now?
Yeah, but like these guys are entitled people that make far more money than we do. And it seems like athletes kind of get away with telling their bosses that they're not going to do what they are told to do.
Yeah, especially when they make 3 or 4 times what the boss makes, right?
Yeah.
So Robert, what you got? Yeah, I say my thoughts on this is like we got like surplus in certain different spots, but we know, like you said, Ke'Bryan Hayes is the Tito guy. He'd rather save runs rather than get a plus hitter in that third base position. So I don't think we're going to see anything with him being dealt or anything like that, even though there was some talk about that a little bit, like the last couple of weeks or whatever. Sal seems pretty good at first base. We'll see what he looks through like a spring training and like 120, 130 games there. I don't know if they're going to give him that many games there. It'd be nice because then, like Ricky was talking about pre-show, then he'd probably be a good candidate for Rookie of the Year. Just to have his, plus bat in the lineup would be nice. But in terms of like Collier, and I think it leaves him in the minors. Like I think it leaves him at AAA until he's needed. I mean, we went into 2024 with McLean and Jonathan India, both second basemen and only second baseman, and it kind of worked itself out in a way. So like we'll see. There's a lot of time until March, right? A lot of time until they report in February. That I'm not saying that injuries are going to be the deciding factor, but maybe one guy clearly shows who should be in the major league roster and one doesn't, right? At least in terms of the first base argument, right? I mean, it could be Spencer Steer starting first base March 26, 2026, right? Like it could be still that. He was a above average first baseman, even though that Ricky and I have kind of laughed at that and kind of been like, yeah, he didn't really start playing first base until like halfway through the year, going through a little bit of some bumps and kind of some weird fielding techniques and whatnot. So he was learning on the job, which fine, whatever. Like it didn't cost them, a playoff position, luckily. But he's also like so versatile in 2024 and 2023 where he played left field. He's also, like Ricky said, like played second base. So like I think Steer is the kind of guy that you would want to keep around, even if he is older. Same thing kind of Friedel, even though he is older. He's kind of like these Reds kind of guys where he's valuable to this team, but I don't know if you can really get much for Steer. I don't know if you really get much for Friedel if you go and say, hey, they're on the market. You probably get prospects, right, at best. Yeah. And that's kind of the honest truth of it, is that you got to go with the guys you got. You can't really – it would be nice if Hector was ready in 2026. It'd be nice if Cam Collier is ready in 2026 because we know those guys have been killing it in the minors and come back strong and basically, from injury for Cam, like he's come back and really proved that he can be a valuable asset to this club. But I don't know if it's next year. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, so then you're kind of feeding into me a little bit here, right? So I believe the same thing that a lot of you guys are saying. I don't know how much you can get for Spencer. I don't know how much you can get for Friedel. So you keep those guys and you trade the kids, right? You trade Collier and you trade Balcazar and you trade them to Oaklands of the world and these teams that are willing to give up Brent Rooker. I mean, I've been pushing for Brent Rooker forever. But wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't you give up Collier and Leo and, I don't know, throw in Williamson or throw in – I'm not going to throw Lauder into it or I'm not going to throw Burns in there or anything like that. But I might even be I mean, if I can get Rooker, I might even give you Collier and Balcazar and Petty. And if you give me the major league guy back, I think that's where the Reds need to be right at the moment. We need to trade some of our kids to get a person that fits our major league roster.
Yeah, but then you're looking at it as the Reds are going to spend money too, and to get a major league player, it's going to cost a whole lot more than a prospect would, and that's the one thing that they're not going to do is pay for the major league player. I mean, we're looking at it like Hunter Green's going to make like $8.5 million next year, and they're wanting to trade him. Like
they're not going to trade.
It's insane. They're not going to.
I know you guys have been talking about this forever. They're not trading Hunter Green.
No, they're not. They're not. Mark Sheldon already came out today. He said like that was just kind of like it would make sense to trade him to get trade your top tier pitcher for a top tier bat. But like the value of Hunter Green's contract, you're never going to see that again. Nobody is going to sign that kind of contract. And I just, we'd have a better chance of signing a Nick Castellanos for $8.5 million and signing or trading 3 prospects for somebody who's going to make $15 to $25 million.
Yeah, but Brent Rooker's already signed. He's got 2 more years on his contract, and he's like, I don't know. I think he's like $33 million for the next 2 years. They did the unthinkable with Martinez, right? I mean, we can do it again. They signed Moustakas, and that was a bust. They signed. Some people would even say Nick Castellanos was a bust because of how it was done and how we traded him away and all of that. So I don't know. I think if the Reds are going to do something, they have to do it right now. This is the time before Ellie gets too expensive. So this is their window. And if I'm not saying to go out and sign Kyle Schwarber, and I think we're going to talk about that. I have another person that you've set me up really good for, by the way. I can't wait to go back to some of these conversations we've already had because the guy that I think they're going to sign is probably going to shock you a little bit. It was on the Lights Out Sports podcast. If you missed it, we did. I won't say the position group yet. I'll save it.
Fair. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into what, like, realistically the Reds should be going for, what their rosters kind of look like. We're kind of already touching on that a little bit with this team. But before all that, Ricky had a kind of a thought-provoking thing that he saw, I think it was on X or whatever. Yeah. Go ahead, Rick. Yeah,
who would be – I saw this on a Reds Facebook group. It was who would be your Mount Rushmore of Reds in the GABP era? And for mine, I picked Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Aroldis Chapman, and Johnny Cueto. Adam Dunn was really close. I was debating on him and Cueto, but that's my Mount Rushmore. I don't know, Roger. I don't know who you had. Manager for me would be Dusty Baker.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker.
Yeah. So it's from 2003 on, right? Because that's when Jerry American Ballpark was made. And I don't know if you want my silly answer or my real answer, because the real answer is pretty close to what you've got. Maybe throw in, I don't know, maybe like a Homer Bailey as like a outside looking in. I don't know, like,
Trevor Bauer's one season.
The 2020 season only. No, like, and I'm trying to think of some other guys, like,
Suarez.
What the heck, the outfielder, Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce would be in there.
In the Hall of Pretty Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn got
he's in the inner circle.
Is there like a extra level for a Hall?
Yeah, so they have like their top 4, and he got voted in higher than Tim Wakefield did.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. And he also won an Oscar as a producer and was in what's it called, Dallas Buyers Club. So like he's a man of many talents.
He's a pretty good country singer too.
Is he really?
No, he looks like Toby Keith. That's why I said it.
He won an Oscar. He's from Texas, right? Like, so he's kind of, he might have that in him. Maybe not necessarily does it for for money, for public.
That's back when the Reds like scouted Texas heavily, because you got Jay Bruce out of Texas, Homer Bailey out of Texas, Adam Dunn out of Texas, and you just don't see them scouting Texas guys anymore.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we bought enough time for you there, Mike. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of guys since 2003, since GAP?
I would agree with everybody. I mean, obviously Joey Votto's got to be there, right? Brandon Phillips has to be there. The guy who is the best overall, not just Reds player, But when we're talking about spring training and all this kind of stuff, Brandon Phillips is like no other. Brandon Phillips interacts with all the people. He'll take pictures. He'll like I've seen Brandon Phillips come up to the on deck circle and not even watch the at bat before him. He's just talking to people in the stands the entire time he's in the on deck circle. I honestly, I think it kind of upset the Reds at times that he was so interactive with everybody because he wouldn't pay attention to what was going on the field a lot.
Yeah,
but
Didn't hurt his performance.
no, it did not. He didn't have to pay attention. That's what I was going to say. He didn't. Oh, and by the way, do you guys know? Let me give you a Brandon Phillips piece of trivia. I'm also a big WWE guy. Okay. Do you know who Brandon Phillips is married to in real life?
Yep. Jade Cargill, is it?
Cargill. That huge. She's huge, man. She's bigger than all three of us put together. But you know, she's all cut up, man. But they're married, so that's like, wow, okay. Why wasn't Brandon bigger when he was in ball? I mean, what was going on there, man? Well, so I guess she was taking all of his supplements too. But anyway, so yeah, you can AI cut that one up here later on. That'll be good, right?
Yeah.
So, but yes,
That'll be the one clip he sees.
There you go. Yeah. I love Brandon. I got tons of his autographs over there too.
I got an autograph story about him too. I had shoulder surgery in 2014, and I took my mom to a game, and my mom's diehard Reds fan. She grew up, the 50s. She was born in the 50s. She was a young adult in the Big Red Machine era. She was in Paris Island when they won back-to-back in 75 and 76. And we were first base side, 2 rows back of the tarp. And Billy Hamilton, it was like his second year, I think. So like the crowd swarmed him. And then off to the corner, you see Brandon Phillips signing. I'm like, Mom, get up there and get his autograph. And she gets up there and, she tells him thank you. And he looks at her like those words are foreign to me. Nobody ever says thank you. And he had the biggest smile on his face. And I think that probably just made his day.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many of the people, even in the fall league and stuff, were just like pushing people out of the way and trying to get autographs and everything else. And I'm big enough to where once I get up there, you're not taking my spot, right? Once, and I'm nice to everybody. I always say, get the kids first. That's kind of that's my thing is I'll usually be the, I'm
first
the
adult there
here at the moment, right? So you guys know what I do for a living, so I get up there and push my way in, and then I'll let the kids get in front of me. And a lot like Duno saw me let all the kids up in front of me at the fall game, and that's the whole reason. The only person that he signed were the kids and me, and then everybody else was like, Mr. Duno, Mr. Duno. Nope, and he went right to the dugout, and I wanted to be like, nah, but I,
see what happens when you're a good person.
Well, that's kind of what I hope anyway. I mean, so the Rushmore's got to be Votto. It's got to be Phillips, right? I would put Chapman up there. I'd love to have Chapman back. I would put Chapman up there. And then I got a couple of one of them I don't think any of you mentioned so far. So, in fact, I'm not sure if either of you mentioned them. I think I'd put Gino up there. I love Gino. Mm-hmm. Gino Suarez I'd put up there. And then my honorable mention would be Raisel Iglesias, which I don't think either of you mentioned either. He's a pretty good force for us. I mean, he seemed to always give up a run and he made it interesting, but he still got the save all at the same time. So I'd put him up there, I think.
I guess kind of staying on the topic of the Hall of Pretty Good. So I guess if you guys want to think about this while I'm laying mine out here, the Hall of Pretty Good for me, for the Reds, and my qualifications is you're a very, very good major league player, but you're obviously not going to make the Hall of Fame, right? And let's just say Reds Hall of Fame for this matter, which, they might make the Reds Hall of Fame. But like, if I had to name 4 Hall of Pretty Good Reds players, I'm going Ryan Friel, I'm going Felipe Lopez, I'm going Tucker Barnhart, and I'm going, who's my 4th guy? Edinson Volquez or Homer Bailey, one of those 2.
Nice. Breaking news, guys. I know that, Mike, you talked about how the fall league's going on with the playoffs. Guess who did it again? Mr. Alfredo Duno, 3-run home run.
Oh, nice. Wow. He is, and I tell you, when he gets on fire, he's on fire. And he's proven that throughout all the places he's been. He'll carry a team for like a week. He reminds me of Dunn or Kearns or one of those guys. A couple of other Hall of very good people we can qualify for.
Awesome. Kearns.
Yeah. Might be prisoner of the moment, but he better get up here sooner than later. Sorry, Ryan McChrystal. I know that he's kind of ahead of him in the progress chart.
Bring them up together. We got there's our catching squad.
You can't have enough catchers, right, Mike?
You guys aren't going to do this, but I'm going to do this for you. You guys have had 2 really, really good interviews. In fact, I listened to the one interview on the way to the Fall League the other day to the one game, and then on the way back, I listened to the other one. Your catcher guy that you did, Crystal McChrystal, right?
Yeah, Ryan McChrystal.
Man, that was a fantastic interview that the 2 of you guys did. You were able, because I know you guys are, I'm with you on as far as the faith part goes. And you even say it during the interview, hey, we could do a whole show on just faith-based things. And you guys did a really, really good job of sprinkling that in there a little bit, but not making it a dominant topic. I love I got to give Ricky some props here for he does what's your pregame meal? What'd you call it? Like the little
rapid
fast
fire
thing? Yeah, the rapid fire things. I like that really well. So if you guys are listening to us right now and you haven't listened to the 2 interviews that they did, one was the catcher and then the other was the reliever that just went to the Arizona Fall League. He has a really good story. In fact, actually, both of them have a good story. I won't give away who you can't call them you can't call them Eastern. How did that go?
Eastern Carolina.
Yeah.
Carolina
University.
It's funny how he corrected you nicely on that. That was pretty good,
like,
right?
Whoa, hang on.
Yeah. I almost did it again. Anyway, that's But
I will say that there will be a part 2 with Ryan McChrystal before spring training. We have
very good.
We have that in the works. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. It just kind of came out naturally that he started talking about his faith. We didn't have that on the radar, so we didn't necessarily have questions prepped for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if we were better researchers, we could have maybe had that inkling or whatnot. But we were just trying to learn about him, and now that we, hopefully are on a good friendly basis with him, we'll be able to go deeper.
Yeah, fun fact about that interview, we had so many technical difficulties with that. I'm so glad that was recorded and not live, because it would have been horrible in podcast form. It took it was some editing in that one for sure.
Yeah, you can't even tell. I mean, you guys say it at the end of it, and I was like, well, there wasn't nothing wrong with that interview. I was a little confused.
I'll send you the full copy.
That's all Ricky. That's all Ricky. That's all him. Yeah, the full copy. We're just sitting there, like. Okay. Anyway, neither here nor there. You got your Mount Rushmore out there. I think a pretty nice list. Some shout outs to those guys. And speaking of guys that need shout outs, it's that time of year that they're voting for the Reds Hall of Fame. If you haven't seen that, Mike, I've been voting every day. A bunch of guys that are up for, including that dude BP is up for. Brandon Phillips up for a Hall of Fame, along with Aaron Harang, Cozart, Francisco Cordero. Who else am I missing? Homer Bailey, I think, is another one. I'm not going to miss all of them. Shout out the other guy.
Aaron
I'll just tell you this. I'll vote for Brandon Phillips every time, and I'm never going to vote for Homer Bailey.
Well, you can vote once a day per email. So, if you got a bunch of burner accounts, Mike, you can just keep voting early and often. But anyway, moving on.
Too?
Yeah. I'm missing a couple. Mike Leake is on that list, I think, right?
So the full list for this year is Homer Bailey, Francisco Cordero, Zach Cozart, Aaron Harang, Mike Leake, Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland, Edinson Volquez.
Oh, yeah.
Never voting for Scott Rowland either, just so you know.
He was.
He wasn't here that long, right?
The only thing I'll give him for his time with the Reds was his leadership. I think he was basically a player manager, minus the fact of setting lineups. I don't think that team would be as good as they were without him, but it wasn't because of him on the field, if that makes sense.
So you guys know that I'm all about the autographs and stuff. So I was at spring training. We still call it this. Those of us who have been to spring training for a long time, there is a door that leads right off the field where no one has access to. None of us can get to that door. And that is affectionately known as the Scott Rowland door, because after every practice, he would jet right to that spot, and he's not signing nothing. He's not talking to anybody. Homer Bailey was the exact same way. He's not talking. That's why I would never vote for either one of them, because to me, you've got to be more than just on the field. You've got to give me some off the field stuff too. And when those guys would literally run for that door, and you'll see it because, again, both of you will be here during spring training. And when both of you come in, we'll take some video and some photos and everything else while we're all here together. I'll show you where the Scott Rowland door is. And there will be people at spring training who have been there for quite a while that will still, when I call up the Scott Rowland door, you'll see them all crack up laughing because they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Maybe he knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer, so he's waiting for his signature to increase in value at that point.
Okay, well, we'll give it that.
Yeah, we'll call it that. All right. Anything else?
Roger, who were your 2 votes for the Hall of Fame?
I've been mixing it up because you get to vote every day. I'm not trying to spread it around the love for everyone, but definitely Phillips. We've been trying to get this guy on the show, Zach Cozart. I've been voting for him. Maybe if I send him my ballot, maybe he'll come on the show. But Aaron Harang also getting some love. I was a fan of Homer Bailey back then as well. I know he didn't have necessarily the longevity and didn't really live up to the contract, but we're talking about Reds Hall of Famers, right? And we're not talking about, the MLB Hall of Fame, but that's a contentious topic as well. But yeah, kind of like that. In that area, I can't remember the other guys. Like I said, I think Cordero, Leak, definitely not. Roland wasn't here long enough to feel like a Reds Hall of Famer, right? Like he's going to be a Cardinal Hall of Famer if they have that, if anything, right? So that's kind of my take on it. And I think Ricky, to be honest with you, you called it. We were talking about this back in our first episodes that it's Hall of Fame year coming up, and that Brandon Phillips should be up there, hands down. He's got one of the best WARs I think out there for career. Well, he didn't spend his whole career with Cincinnati, but majority of his career he had pretty good stretch, 10 years or something like that. So yeah, that should be it. Easy slam dunk.
I'm gonna read some stats to you. I want you to tell me who it is.
Okay.
75 and 80, 4.28 ERA. And the other one is 67 and 77, a 4.56 ERA and 2 no-hitters.
Well, that's Homer Bailey. I have the bobblehead behind me to prove it if you want to see it. I have those no-hitter bobbleheads behind me.
So my
Aaron
thing
Harang was the first one.
Aaron Harang led the National League in wins in 2006. He went 16 and 11. Had the team had been a good team, he probably wins 22 games that year.
Yeah.
And you could probably make the argument that there was a few seasons that he could win 20 games. The season prior, he went 11 and 13 with a 3.83 ERA. He led the National League in starts that year too at 35. He did kind of have some injuries towards the tail end of his Reds career. I think Steve Offenbaker on the Locked On Reds podcast had said that. I remember this too. There was a game where the Reds played the Padres in San Diego, and it was like a multi-extra inning game. And he warmed up the pitch and came in the pitch, and he was honestly never really the same pitcher after that, which is weird. But yeah, I mean, Aaron Harang is, and I'm guilty of this too, is probably the most underrated Reds pitcher in the modern era. Like at least 2000 on.
Yeah, and he gave me the other qualifications too. If you remember when they started doing the Redheads, the kids club or whatever, he was the guy who took that banner on. And he was also the guy who did a lot of military stuff. He gave a lot of tickets away to military families and stuff like that during his tenure. So I kind of want, like I said, that's why I love Brandon Phillips so much. You've got to give me a little bit off the field too. And that's why I wouldn't vote for Rowland or Bailey. But you give me Brandon Phillips and you give me Harang, and those are the 2 guys I want to see.
Shout out to Aaron Harang. That sounds like a pretty good case for Hall of Fame for at least what I've seen. I mean, I know, I haven't necessarily voted for him every day, but maybe I will now going forward. But
my only argument against Homer Bailey is that if you take away his 2 no-hitters, and that's going to be a qualification for the Reds Hall of Fame, is they're going to take into account, fans are going to take into the account of moments, right? And they're going to say, oh, Homer Bailey threw a no-hitter. Okay, Homer Bailey threw 2 no-hitters. And then they're going to be like, okay, he got a contract. He had a really, really good game in the playoffs. I think it was 2010 against the Phillies. He had a really good game. They brought in Cueto out of the bullpen, I believe. Like that's how that was a good rotation that year. But you take away those 3 moments and he's had a really kind of a subpar career. And I honestly I don't think he would be on the list had it not been for the 2 no-hitters.
I agree. And he's a jerk.
Get that out there.
Anyway,
clip it.
So many times have I seen, like, it used to be in spring training, they had to pass right past the fans in order to go from one field to the next field. And he would literally, he wouldn't say a word. And he would go all the way across on the other side of that little hallway thing to where he wouldn't have to touch anybody and no kid could touch him and the whole 9 yards. And it's like, you're just a jerk.
Right. Well, transition. We're going to have talk about the modern day Reds, the 2026 Reds. We touched on a little bit of kind of what the roster could look like. What kind of realistic additions, free agents, trades that could happen for this team in this offseason before everyone, pitchers and catchers report in mid-February? What do you think could happen, Mike?
Well, let me get my notes out from the show, right? Hang on here. I'll give you the exact thing of what I think could happen. So we're doing a thing on the Lights Out Sports podcast. You can join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and it's like 8, I think, for you guys on the East Coast now because the time change. Yep. So we're going to do the top 5 at every position on Tuesday night. So this past Tuesday we did the top 5 first basemen. We did Alonso, Bellinger, Hoskins, Naylor, and Luis Ariz. If you want to go back and listen, where do we think those guys are going to go, and how much money do you think those guys are going to get? So myself and my buddy that's with me, Cheese is his name. Of course, we do that show together, and we did those 5 guys, right? I picked one of them to be a Cincinnati Red because of his versatility. You guys talked about this earlier in the show, right? Tito loves his versatility, people. And this guy can play first base. He can play all 3 outfield positions. If you want to platoon him with Friedel, you can. He's the left-handed power bat that we need, but it's going to cost money. To be honest, I think we have a better shot at getting this guy than we do Kyle Schwarber that everybody's clamoring for, because Schwarber is going to be the highest-paid outfielder / DH guy that's going to happen this offseason, and I don't think the Reds are going to jump into that pool. But I gave the Reds a 5-year, $140 million contract to sign Cody Bellinger in the offseason.
Ricky, your guy.
Make it happen, Nick Kroll. Make it happen.
Ricky's been on it.
I've been begging for him since the Dodgers were going to let him go.
And I need to get my notes back out. And if you look at him, he has improved a lot ever since. So he'll be 29 years old. He's not 30 yet. So you sign him to a 4 or 5, maybe, and give him that 6-year option to get him to age 35. But if it's me, I'm not signing a free agent past the age of 35 and paying him the kind of money that Cody Bellinger is going to want, right? I'm not doing that. In 1,781 at bats, this is his slash line. You ready? I'm glad both of you are sitting down. 281, 338, 477. That's his slash line over the last 1,781 at bats. He's hit, in that same time span, he's hit 73 home runs and he's had 77 doubles. Think of how many doubles will turn into home runs at Great American, right? And last year, he cut his strikeout rate all the way down to 13.7%. It was well over 25 in the beginning of his career, and he keeps cutting it down, and he keeps cutting it down. And again, I think the other thing, the reason why that we would sign him, we being the Cincinnati Reds would sign him. I mean, I'm a Diamondbacks fan too, but I love my Reds and everything else out here, right? So he can play all 3 outfield spots. He can DH for you, and he can play first base for you. Tito seems to love versatility. So I think instead of the Schwarber guy who all he can do is DH, I think Cody Bellinger makes more sense for this team.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The only thing, which is the only pushback that you can really say about that argument in terms of the Reds atmosphere, the Reds environment, is the money. They've talked about this already, and now we're not switching subjects because we'll get to the Nick Kroll of it all and Brad Meter and whatnot. But the budgeting, the supposed 15 to 20 million that's left over to spend, I can't do it in my head, but I think 140 divided by 5 is more than 20 million AAV. Yeah, so yeah, unless they get some sort of cash infusion or do some trading, I don't know, man. It's tough to be a Reds fan, and wish for a guy that would fit perfectly. Like you're saying, the argument
I
there
got
is
some stats for you for Bellinger in Great American Ballpark.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
This is like
Career
Clear your
stats.
throat
He
first,
is
please, sir.
264 batting average, 322 on base, 547 slug, 869 OPS. And
That's pretty good.
He has it's a good TV here. He's got 4 home runs in his career. Outside of division opponents, it's in the top 5. Strikes
Say that
out
thing again, because you said he's got 4 home runs, and then you said outside of division opponents. What's? Give me your stat again, sir.
So, like, he plays, obviously, division opponents. You play the most games against your division, right? Like, if you play for the Dodgers, you play the NL West more than you would play the NL Central.
Sure.
In the American League East, you're going to play more against the AL East than you would play against other teams. So, like, taking out divisional opponents, him playing other division teams, his stats in Great American Ballpark are in the top 5.
Oh, okay. So he hits really well in Great American Ballpark.
Yes.
Is what you're trying to say.
Yes, and I think this year was kind of a struggle for him. He obviously had the game against Chase Burns when the Yankees came here, and then the next game, I believe they faced Hunter Green. I think is that how it turned around. And did we sweep New York?
2024.
Or was it 2 out of 3? It was a two out of 3.
So, because then Nick Martinez pitched the final game, I believe, if I remember correctly, and he did really well in that game too. So we may not have swept them, but we did really well against them at least.
I remember in 2023, I was at the game for Labor Day weekend. It was Noelvi Marte hit his first career walk-off hit that year. It was Bellinger hit a home run to put the Cubs ahead. It was when he was on the Cubs, and Nick Martini hit the 2-run homer to tie the game, and then the bases got filled, and Marte hit the single up the middle. But I think Bellinger had like 7 hits that series. Like it was like I that is the one guy. If I could pick anybody out of the free agents, I want Cody Bellinger. It's just it's not realistic. I'd go to the press conference. I'd be outside the stadium. Like, come on, let's go. I'd be hyped. But
okay, but let's make it a little more realistic, gentlemen. How many games you guys go to last year?
I didn't go to a whole lot last year. I think I went to we went to 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to say like 5 or 6 for me.
Okay, so we'll say 10 or under. We'll put you in the 10 or under category, right? If they got Cody Bellinger, how many games would you go to? Would you go to 10 to 20? Would you go more than 20? Let's sell this a little bit, gentlemen. How many more games would you go to? How much more money would you infuse for the Reds if they got Cody Bellinger? That's the only addition they make. They keep everybody else the same. They add Cody Bellinger. That's it. What would it do to you?
It'd get me excited.
You want an honest answer?
Yeah.
I'd probably go to less because the tickets would be more expensive.
Yeah.
Like, gasoline is now we're gonna have like a beer is gonna be $20 instead of 15 type of thing. So
I wouldn't have a problem with that if I didn't have to get out of my freaking seat to go get it.
Yeah, and then no cash either. So there's that.
Yeah, like no cash and there's no vendors anymore. You have to get up out of your seat to go. And with the pitch clock, it's even faster. So I've missed innings going to get drinks.
I talked about this on the Lights Out Sports podcast with Cheese here the other night, and I was telling him that I've started getting tickets like seats 12 and 13, like in the middle, because I can't stand being on the outside anymore, and everybody just leaves, and you're always getting up, and you're like, oh my God, can you people just sit down and get some sunflower seeds and spit them on the ground like normal baseball people do, right? Stop getting up and getting in front of me. So I've started getting seats that are like 12 and 13, because when I get there, I get my stuff in the beginning, and I'm not moving. Unless I really, really have to go to the restroom, then maybe. But beyond that, I'm not going anywhere. So, yeah.
I missed the home run on Joey Votto's 40th birthday, September 10th, 2023. Had to go to the bathroom.
I missed Ellie's grand slam this year when we were at the game. I went and got. I think I went to get me and you a beer, and I look up and it's on the TV. Hit a grand slam. I'm like, oh, well, that's fun.
I would sent you to get more beer. I'd have been all right. Go get another one.
Yeah, I was saying they finally got some hitting there against the Pirates. But anyway, bring back vendors, I think is what we're trying to say.
You bring more jobs to the ballpark, and you can't make the excuse of contact anymore. I mean, get over it. It's been 5 years.
You really don't have any vendors at the ballpark?
No,
really?
nobody. Nope.
They're in the concourse, like standing, if that makes sense.
And
so they don't come down into the aisleways and stuff anymore?
The only way you can get stuff brought to you is if you're in Diamond Club or if you're in the section behind Diamond Club, which is
so they're trying to get you to go to those sections and spend all the money.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at $100 a ticket in the section behind Diamond Club.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm never spending that for a ticket to any game.
I had that gifted to me for a anniversary gift.
Oh, nice.
In 2023. We went, it was the May 9th game against the White Sox. I got to see Jose Barrero.
It was only $40 for that game.
No, it was like 96. My brother bought them for me. It was me and my wife. We went, and my wife was a big Nick Senzel fan. I was a big Jose Barrero fan. So we got to see them play for the last time.
Yeah. I know the running joke will be, though, if they do bring back vendors, is that they can't afford then Cody Bellinger because they got to pay the vendors.
They got to pay the vendors.
That's what the jokes or the reality. I don't know. Sometimes the jokes have that little grain of truth in them. You know what I mean? But anyway, point being is that the Reds realistically, they should be in the market for a Cody Bellinger. But like more realistically, I know you've been on this path, beating this drum, Mike. Like Brent Rooker is probably realistic as well, or something of that kind of Taylor Ward, kind of that range, not the top end, free agent, so to speak, but maybe the middle tier type of thing. Is there another guy like that possibly that comes to mind that is realistic for the Reds to get? If obviously the Yankees are probably going to try to bring back Bellinger or something like that, or God forbid the Dodgers or whatever, right?
I think there's a couple of those guys. Here's the guy that I don't want to see, but I'm just going to say it right now. I bet you start hearing them. The rumors are going to start because he's 29 years old and he's another good center fielder that can play everything. You watch. The Reds are going to start going after Trent Grisham.
But yeah, that's been talked about a bunch.
Right. I can see him going to get another guy that I wouldn't mind, even though he's 32 years old. Ryan O'Hearn, I think, would fit here pretty well because he can do a little bit of both. And I was gonna say this guy because I really loved him and I loved his dad. And I just like the way he plays. I like the grittiness that Mike Yastrzemski plays with. But I didn't realize Mike Yastrzemski's 35 years old.
Yeah.
So just because he's 35, I'm going to say I don't want him now. But
you know who I want as a trade?
Who's that?
I want Stephen Kwan.
Oh, so does Tito.
Yeah. You know who else wants Tito? I saw Justin Turner. He wants to play under Tito.
But what's Justin Turner going to do for us?
Leadership. He is the Scott Rowland. Put him on the bench. He's basically your bench guy.
Yeah.
It is. But, Dusty had his guys.
Yeah, that's why Dusty stunk too.
Hey, he got us our most wins in a season.
Dusty Baker and me. I can't stand Dusty Baker.
He got the most wins in a season since 1999.
Shout out Dusty. I have
updated.
But all right.
I have updated stats on Cody Bellinger. So the page that I had wasn't updated until 2022. So these are more accurate, and you're gonna love this.
All right. Shout out characters at Daytona. Say they actually do some customer service down there. So if you go to a Daytona game, you can get the food delivered to you, not necessarily have to.
When you guys come out during hurricane season, it'll be the same way. You guys come out here for spring training and just hang out wherever you want and put your hand up, and they'll come right to you. And we got some good vendors out here. I know it sounds weird, but you just wait, guys. When they come out, we'll have to take some video of the grandma. See the lemonade guy. Lemonade, just like my grandma made. You wait. We'll take the video. There's a guy that does the chicken dance when he does his video stuff. There's some colorful players out here.
Well, there was a famous clip I saw from 2 years ago. It was Giancarlo Stanton in spring training, and you hear the guy, the vendor's like beer, 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 and then instantly the smack of the bat for a home run. Like that was awesome. But here is the updated numbers for Cody Bellinger career in Cincinnati. 339 batting average, 39 hits, 9 home runs, 24 RBIs, 21 runs scored in 27 games. Bring him here. Sign him today.
And I must be just like on some sort of joke train because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, that's what he's going to do in 2026. The whole year, 27 games.
I know
39 hits, 9 home runs.
Right. I know everybody wants to bring home the hometown kid and Kyle Schwarber. He does one thing really well.
Here.
He hits home runs.
I mean, did you see Wine with the Wine tweeted that he wants Kyle Schwarber back in Cincinnati too. Bring him home.
But I think Cody Bellinger makes a lot more sense as far as the left-handed bat and the more versatility that you can do and all of that kind of stuff. So.
Schwarber's the story. You know, you bring him, he comes home, plays for his childhood team, probably doesn't hit 54 home runs again, even though it would be incredible. But he probably has a better career with the Reds than Jeimer Candelario and Mike Moustakas combined. That's a low bar to have, but Cody Bellinger is the kind of guy you could sign and he'd be an all-star his first year here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, Bellinger makes a lot more sense. And Schwarber's price is going to go up because he finished second in MVP voting. So, like, there's that aspect as well. To be like, his agent is not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to take less money to go to Cincinnati after finishing second in voting. Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah. That probably happens when he finishes out his next contract and he's
40.
basically signs a 1-year deal to play home.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I was 20, 30.
Because then him and Cody Bellinger can go 3-4 back to back.
There you go. There you go. All right. I think we've I've made enough jokes about all that. But let's get to this topic. Tito, we're talking about awards. Tito finished second in voting for Manager of the Year. It got a lot. I don't know about your algorithm, Mike, but it got a lot of stuff in my algorithm. Like a lot of people just surprised that he was even nominated, that he made the top 3. And basically a lot of people in Cincinnati have a lot of takes on Tito coming back out of retirement, thinking that maybe everything's a little bit too much for him. Maybe he's 70-something years old, or 60-something. I forget how old he is, but he's getting up there in age and whatnot.
68, I think.
Yeah, so like there's that kind of discourse out there about him as well. But he did get us to the playoffs. He did take a team that not necessarily was major league hitting team. They had good pitching. I think he managed the pitching staff pretty well, especially like the bullpen. But what is your take on him finishing second in Manager of the Year voting?
Okay, your fan base is not going to like me right now because I think Tito's overrated.
Our fan base.
I agree.
Our fan base agrees.
Yeah,
I don't agree, but
Tito's one of those guys that you want to play for.
Yeah.
As a player, Tito's that guy that you want to have as your manager. But he's not a very good manager. He does a lot of things wrong. He manages the game really bad. He seems like he is old school, and that's it. Like he doesn't even look at it, and he probably can't even spell analytics. Like he doesn't look at it, right? He is just that guy, and he's like, oh, I'm the So on the Lights Out Sports podcast, you'll see that I do a lot of analytics stuff. I love stats. And that's one of the reasons why Cheese and I do so well together, because he calls it the eye test all the time, right? Well, I just look at what they do on the field. And that's what Francona gives me the impression that he does, right? He just looks at people on the field and is like, okay, well, this guy, I like him, and he can do this, and he can do that. There's one exception. Poor Will Benson. I don't understand why he didn't get more of a chance, but he seems like he gives everybody else the chance except for poor Will Benson. We're not really going to talk about this on this show, but I hope Will Benson gets traded to a team that will actually use him. It frustrates me more to see him sitting on the bench than it does anything else, because I think he can be a really productive platoon type player. I don't think he's a 162 game guy, but I think if you put him in the right spot, which the Reds haven't done since they've had him, and Francona had him in the Indian/Guardian system before we got him. If anybody should know what Will Benson is, it should be Tito. I've talked to Tito a couple times. He'll come up and sign autographs. Again, when you guys come to spring training, he'll come up and sign the stuff for you and everything. He'll chat with you before the game and everything else. Great guy, nice guy, just not the best manager in the world. Oh wait, what did Raman have to say? Raman's on our show all the time too. Yes. I think she's talking about the Lights Out show. And not only that one, but this show does all the analytics too, right? I know Ricky loves to dig into his analytics, and you guys mesh a lot like Cheese and I mesh. I'm the analytics guy more or less, and you know, Ricky's with me, so.
Yeah, I'm more the kind of the narrative vibes guy because I'm not necessarily the biggest. I don't know if Ricky thinks he's like all pro analytics either. Baseball.
No, I'm a beginner in the education. I'm like a fourth grade education level when it comes to analytics.
You know what? I'm just gonna have to plug everything for you two. So if you go to Sports Illustrated right now, Ricky's got a ton of articles up there, and he puts analytics in each and every one of those articles. If you guys haven't got a chance to do that, stop smiling over there.
CincinnatiRedsTalk.com.
Oh, okay. So you are going to throw it out there for us.
Little plug.
Good job. Yeah, some great articles, and he does put a lot of analytics in it. He's not the guy that does every analytic and just fills the whole sheet full of them and gives you 2 more paragraphs because half of them are numbers. But he puts enough analytics in there to where he backs up his points. So I shout out to Ricky Logan over there doing a lot of stuff right now.
Thank you. I'll give you some analytics on Will Benson right now if you want them.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Will Benson in 2025 had a average exit velocity of 90.2, and MLB average was 88.6. His max exit velocity was 111.4. The MLB max was 122. I think that was Elniel Cruz for the Pirates. Maxed that out. And then his expected batting average was 217. I don't remember what he hit. His expected batting average was 264. He hit 217. His expected slug was 493. He slugged 387. So he's got a lot of like high expected numbers. Like I think people kind of tend to make the case that like luck is the factor with a lot of his like lack of batting average. His strikeout percentage went down a lot from 24 to 25. He struck out 39.7% of the time in 2024. Granted, he played a whole lot more in 2024 compared to 2025, but he struck out 26.5%, and his walk rate did go down compared to last season. So in 2024, he walked at a 10.3% clip. This year it was 6.3. So a whole 4% difference. But my case with Will Benson is like, I love Will Benson. I love him as a human being. I love him as just a person. I don't know what he is. And I'm not trying to like make it negative. It's just 2024 was he basically told David Bell, like, I want to play every day. And they kind of had to play him every day just because of the injuries and stuff in that season. But him versus lefties was atrocious. And, like, it's not a bad thing to be a platoon hitter. Like, guys have made careers being platoon hitters. Look at Ref Snyder for the Red Sox. I mean, he's going to make some money in either in free agency this year or next year being a platoon hitter. And, like, the problem is when, like, the problem with this season is they basically had 2 guys that did the same thing, and that was him and Jake Fraley. Obviously, Jake Fraley's power numbers were down. He didn't hit a home run until he had that grand slam versus the Mariners. So that was pretty deep into April. And I don't know. I feel like in my mind, I would have picked Will Benson over Fraley way earlier in the season. Like, my issue is like, not only is it Will Benson, it's also Rhys Hines. Like, look at the season Reese Hines had in AAA. He wins the Louisville team MVP. He hits like 304, 20-something home runs. He's the second bat ever to have a 2020 season. Why he got less at bats than Blake Dunn did? Like, why was that? Like, what happened there? Like, is like I guess my overarching thing is it Tito or is it the organization? Because they have this philosophy of level swing, line drive, and we've heard Sal Stewart say miss hits or home runs. Like, is that it? Like, is that the reason why? Is it not only Tito? Is it also Crawl and Meter and Valleca and whoever else is in charge of making decisions like that?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'll tell you this. We were talking about great big guys and how big Duno is. Wait till if he's still here, wait till spring training comes and I get the attention of Will Benson and he comes over looking like a WWE wrestler in a baseball uniform. That man is, not only is he huge, he's just as big as Ella De La Cruz is.
He's 6'5", yeah. He's a big guy.
Yeah, there's not much difference in the two of them, except Will Benson looks like he could just run over the rest of the team in one fell swoop. I mean, he's huge. He has a so I know the story a little bit. He has a necklace on has a sun on it for Benson. He was one of those guys way back when in spring training, the guys used to live with different people when they'd come out here. There was no hotels and stuff for them to stay in, so they would have to be hosted by a family. And so there was a really old couple out here, and you'll probably see it if you come out here at the right time. She'll come out to the game and he'll pick her up and like hug her. And I mean, he just looks like he's going to kill her. She's like 90 pounds soaking wet, right? But I guess that was the family that he stayed with for his first year when he came over to the Reds. And she bought him a big sun that he wears around his neck. If you've probably seen it if you look at it close enough, pictures of him and stuff. He has a big sun on a chain. And I asked him once, I was like, "Why do you have the sun?" And he points to her, and she goes, "That's my son, Will Ben's son." And that sun that he has on his chest looks like he has like a real, like he's plucked the sun out of the sky, and he's like some kind of Greek god or something with the body that man's got. He just plopped it on his chest. I mean, he's huge, and that sun is huge. So it was a neat story and everything. That's one of those things that you could write about there, Ricky. That's pretty neat.
I mean, the story should be, Rick, that our insider for sure knows that Will Benson's not getting traded, because there's no way that Tito can walk up to that woman and say, "We have to trade your son," because that would ruin her, and it just ruin the whole vibes of spring training, right? Like that would just be, you can't do it now. I guess Will Benson's going to be on that 26 roster, man. We were having takes that he might get traded too because of unfortunate the history of having Tito as his manager didn't really work out well in Cleveland either. So like, that being said, like it's kind of crazy. Yes, a lot of decisions have been made. The reason why we asked you this question about Tito is that our poll squarely agrees with you as well. I mean, we asked, and thank you for everyone that voted, did Terry Francona deserve to be runner-up as National League Manager of the Year? And 64% said no. And I don't think that's a no, he deserved to win, because there was one guy that did say that, kind of turning the question on its head. But I think a lot of people in Cincinnati, I'm not out on Tito. I like to think he's got some rust from like missing a year and, having his health issues and maybe not being in tune with the game of baseball necessarily. I like to think hopefully he'll get a little bit more moderation with this. I
think next year will be different.
I like to think so. Like I feel like they really kind of are trying to establish a culture of like, trying to be accountable, trying to not make mistakes on the base pass, mistakes by striking out as much. Like he's trying to reset, because we've seen a bunch of talented Reds teams in the past look like that they just don't have the fundamentals, right? Like they just don't look like they can play baseball. We're trying to, I guess, aspire to that Tampa Bay Rays, Milwaukee Brewers, where they're doing it with guys that are fundamentally sound, playing solid baseball. Not necessarily the flashiest guys, right? Not necessarily the guys that are going to be at the top of the home run charts or the MVP charts, right? But guys that will play solid baseball 162 games a year. I'd like to think that's what this is, like a reset year. If you make the playoffs in a reset year and you can build on this next year, I like I said, and we talked about his other shows, 90 wins. 90 wins is what they got to do. If they fall short of that and kind of get in this 83, 84, 85 range, I think that's disappointing. And then I feel like the criticism of the front office and, obviously, the, managerial decisions can really be brought out there and say, hey, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so everything you just said kind of is why I believe he deserved to be in the running. I don't think he deserved to win. Obviously, I think that Pat Murphy obviously outmanaged everybody in baseball, and you can make the argument that the Marlins manager should have had more pub when it comes to voting.
$45 million payroll, and
they almost made the playoffs, and they saved our season. They're the reason why we made the playoffs. So give him a vote just for that. To me, we didn't see the Tito that you see on a team that he's been on a team for multiple seasons. We saw a Tito trying to get comfortable with players, not try to overstep. He really loved Santiago Espinal. And I think next year being more comfortable around the guys, more the players being, knowing who he is, I think we're going to see the fiery Tito next year that we saw because what did he get ejected one time, twice, maybe? And I'm not trying to compare him to David Bell, but like David Bell's thing was like, I'm not going to show you in a press conference, but I'm going to get fired up on the field. And he's the leader of all time ejections for the Reds for a reason. But like, we didn't see Tito really kind of like make any like dramatic decisions. The worst decision he made all year, in my opinion, was Ian Jabot on opening day. And you can make the argument, it's like, why were you batting Santiago Espinal in the ninth inning? Like those kind of things, but like those are kind of like feel in the moment games. And I feel like opening day was like, out of all the guys you got in the bullpen, you're picking Ian Jabot to close out opening day.
See, I'm not going to agree with you. I think that Dusty Baker, or I'm sorry, not Dusty. Oh my gosh. I think that Terry Francona is the bad parent here. We all know the bad parent, the parent who tries to be the friend of their child, right? Who gives them what they want and then is like, okay, I love you and the world is a better place with you and we're going to stick with you even though you're terrible and we're going to give you another at bat because I really, really like you and you're a really good person. So here, go up and strike out for us again, right? That's not what a manager's there for. The manager shouldn't care about if the guy's nice or not. That's for us. That's for the fans to go, yeah, I like that guy because he's a nice guy, or I don't like that guy because he's a nice guy. The manager's job is to win. The manager shouldn't care what those players think about him after the game or during the game or whenever it is, during the offseason, whatever. He shouldn't care. His sole job is to win a game. And if the other guy gives you more of an advantage just because you don't necessarily like him as much, why did they wait so long to call Sal Stewart up, right? Why did they? There's so many different things that I can point to that I think Terry Francona did it only because he's a player's manager. And I just don't like that. Stop trying to be everybody's friend, Tito. Be a manager. Be a man. Piss some people off.
Well, I'd argue he did that at times. Like he called out some guys publicly, almost.
Will Benson.
Yeah, Will Benson.
Yeah, Will Benson.
There was another one and I'll have to look back. But like he did some. He likes to talk. If anything, there's one thing that if there's something that we can talk about, Tito. Yeah, he likes spinning a yarn or whatever they say, spinning a story for the media to just gobble up. And I think it's perfect for a small market like here. Like if he was in New York or the Dodgers, like a market that has to win, I think he'd be killed every single day. And there's still a lot of people right out there, anti-Tito stuff out there on the interwebs and whatnot. So like I said, one more year. This year is kind of his year where he's got to show that Tito magic, right? He had a little bit of sprinkle of Tito magic this year. And I don't know. I think his managerial style is a little bit more disciplinarian than David Bell. David Bell wasn't the typical, like, I want everyone to get along, but he never said anything bad about his players to the public. He said that, well, we're getting close. We're doing this. We're doing that. We like this guy. Like, he was the guy that would maybe address it in private is what I'd like to hope, right? Like, because he never said anything publicly to criticize his team or to say something, like this guy's got to do better in that situation. I also disagree with Ricky in terms of, like, the worst decision was pitching Zach Littell in the playoffs. Like, you
Yeah,
got to.
I mean, you can make that too. I was just saying, like, in general, like, opening day, like your
Yeah.
debut game as a
Yeah.
manager, you
Well, he's
that's the
setting
feel
bar
you
low.
got. Yeah. Like, at least, like, with Zach Littell, you can make the argument that, Abbott was a little short on rest if he was to pitch in game 1 or 2.
So was
Obviously, you want
Yamamoto. You're short on rest too in the playoffs.
well,
like,
yeah, but but he, like, that team has the ability to go, all right, if we go to the 14th inning, like, you're pitching. Like,
Yeah.
if we have a game like that, we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, one day we'll be able to say we had an 18 inning game in the playoffs. Just to
And
say
won.
we won. Yeah. So the fan base agrees with you, Mike. They're not too high on Tito. They see the voting, especially him finishing second, as an indictment of, like, how the media nationally just falls for his "aw shucks" routine and, "oh man, I should have done better there. We got to be better there." Yada yada. Whatever. How he likes to, do his post game press conferences and whatnot. Yeah. So and most of the time he talks like a fan, so it's kind of easy to relate to him more than, like I said, David Bell, who would talk like a robot and never really give anything to anybody in terms of, an insight of what actually is going on with the team. But a lot of people are kind of maybe seeing through the "aw shucks" routine a little bit with Tito, seeing that he might not be on, he's not in his prime anymore in terms of managerial stuff. He's kind of on the backside of his career, if you will. It showed in some instances this year. Like I said, this year it's got to be good. It can't be I'm still learning my players thing, like Ricky was saying. It still can't be I don't know what I'm working with in terms of, like, what I can expect out of these guys. He's got a year already of that, and obviously if they add some players, sure, there'll be some betting in period for them, but not necessarily the guys that are going to be the core. Those guys he should know pretty well by now.
Okay.
So yeah,
I don't want to change the subject, but do you want to see Alfredo Duno's home run from today?
the Arizona Fall League highlights, man, are so weird because they'll show some whack angles or, like, the center field cam and it doesn't follow the ball. It's like, what are we watching?
I got a decent one, guys.
I got a decent one.
Show it to us, but there's a reason for that. They don't put a whole lot of money into this. All right, this Arizona Fall League is for scouts, and when you guys go to a game, you guys will come out here and see it with us. That's for scouts. There's 50 people in the stands, and 30 of them are scouts. Maybe 35 of them are scouts. So that's what this league is for, basically, more than anything else. It's for the scouts to be able to. Oh, there's actually. Yeah. It looked like it was from Peoria Sports Complex, and they have a couple more. A couple of these showcase stadiums out here, Salt River Field, which is where the Diamondbacks and the Rockies play. It's a new high-tech stadium, so it's got all the camera angles. That's where the championship game will be played. The one out in Mesa, where the Fall Stars game was, it has a little more fluff and flair to it. It's a 15,000 person stadium. The rest of them, there's not another one that's over 11. So I mean, there's some different nuances to it. And the old Scottsdale Stadium, the stadium I can't stand, which if you guys come out here, we won't go to that stadium. Well, I guess maybe I'll take you just to show you that it's terrible. But I can't stand it. I don't like it. And that's where the Arizona Fall League is actually headquartered, is inside of that stadium. So the camera angles aren't real great. I have tried for 3 years now to be able to broadcast. I'm looking. Yeah, watch how far out he's foot down. Yeah, he is out in front of that pitch. Look at him. All right, you're hurting my eyes. Stop.
Yeah, what? We missed.
See, now you saw he's out in front. He was way out in front of that pitch and still cranked it out.
Yeah, he's a strong guy.
The power he possesses is massive. He got a lot of swing and miss too.
Yeah.
He walks a lot though.
Right. So he's like Kyle Schwarber, but he's a lot cheaper.
Hey, there you go. There's our Kyle Schwarber. He's signed already under
We'll
contract.
we'll see him in 3 years.
Oh gosh.
No, I don't think it'll take 3 years to get in here. I really don't.
Well, he'll be in Dayton this year. Potentially gets called up to Chattanooga if he plays well. So we'll probably see him in AA/AAA next year. So yeah, it could be.
I don't think so. I think he'll go right to Chattanooga this year.
That's a possibility.
He's on the fast track to get here.
If they're going off of the last couple of bats he's had, yeah, he should be. But I don't know exactly what the organization thinks internally of a 19-year-old, if they're going to try to fast track him or not. But yeah,
I know what the other players think of him in the fall league. They all love him to death. So
yeah, Carrick says no way.
No way what? No way what? We've talked about all kinds of stuff.
Fast tracked.
Oh.
Yeah, Carrick also has to take. I think he's also saying that Collier we won't see him until 2027 as well. So he's kind of more conservative in terms of not rushing these guys through. But that's the thing with a lot of like the 2023 class. A lot of those guys got rushed through. Like Ricky's guy Marte,
he should have been called up that year.
So like I don't know. It's kind of a. We'll see what the organization needs, right? Because there's going to be situations where guys either get traded or maybe, they get DFA'd or they get, sent down and optioned and whatnot, and we need some bodies. Hopefully those bodies are ready to play Major League Baseball and not necessarily, get blown away and have their confidence kind of shattered. But, we'll see. That's why you play the game, right? You got to go out there and those guys, they want to be there, right? Like talking to even McChrystal, like he's ready to play for Tito. Like that was the one thing that I took away from the interview is that even though Tito might be this all shucks manager that kind of will tell you what you want to hear and may not be the truth, maybe it's spin. He at least motivates these guys because I think he said that he went there in spring training this past year and Tito was like hyping him up, getting him ready for the season. And McChrystal, it seems like a guy that could be really easily motivated because he seems like he's high energy and he wants to play hard and you can see that in his play. But like he wanted to run through a wall, he said, after talking to Tito. So there's that. I mean, if you can get guys all pulling on the same rope, as they say, that's a big portion of managing, I think, at least in today's game.
Yeah, I used his quote in my article about Tito in the award voting.
Getting the second place, yeah.
Yeah, because
wait a minute, where can they read that article at one more time? Where's that at?
It is SI.com, Reds Talk on SI.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna write that down.
Derek was talking about McChrystal's probably on the path to get moved up quicker than Dano, which and Ricky was thinking, did we say it before the show? Like have them come up together just like a tandem and then we can have 7 or 8 catchers on the roster.
Hey, to McChrystal's credit though, he's a pretty solid first baseman.
Yeah.
I should have asked him more about that because he played first base in college and in Daytona. Like he didn't play a lot of games. I think it was like 20 games he played in first base, and he had a 1,000 fielding percentage. Like he was pretty solid.
And if Dano is called up to Dayton, he probably will play first base there as well because that's what happened in Daytona. He played first base a lot because he was splitting time with Dano. So like if they're kind of this tandem that kind of moving together at the same pace, so to speak, like it could be McChrystal's more looked at as a first baseman, which with Collier and South Stew and Steer, I guess we can't have enough first basemen as well.
I don't know if you guys have looked at numbers. I'm a big numbers guy, right? Your interview that you did with the reliever from the Arizona Fall League is just a few ticks under 100 right now. So guys, let's get that over 100, right? That was a fantastic interview. You guys will really love the fact that he has to put one shoe on before the other one and stuff like that. So
yeah, what was funny about that was we got almost the same answer from Ryan McChrystal. It was
his
the
was
left
opposite,
with the left.
and you guys didn't pick up on it because I'm screaming at the when I was listening to it. I'm like, no, I think it was Roger that said all of them, The other guy said the exact same thing, and I'm like, no, Roger, it was opposite. It was opposite, man. What are you doing? And
Yeah,
it's because McChrystal's left-handed. It's the same
same concept. Okay.
Thought process. One shoe before the other, I guess. But yeah, you're right. It's Shout out Trevor Kunsel. He's out there in Arizona. Hopefully he'll pitch today. Update: they're up 4-1 against the Scorpions, the Javelinas. So bottom of the fourth. So
I know we're going to go back to this for just a second, but give me 30 seconds to tell you this. I don't like the new playoff format for the Arizona Fall League either. It used to be that only the top 4 teams. There was already a team eliminated and all that. Well, this year they didn't do that. They allowed everybody. It's like the participation trophy, right? Everybody gets to play in the playoffs. No, I don't like that, because you can have a team that's been terrible the entire regular season, and all of a sudden they get hot, and then they just run the gamut and get to the championship game. That means the regular season meant nothing. Those 30 games that they play before they get to the championship league. I don't like that concept at all. So that was another reason why I was a little disappointed with the league this year.
Yeah, the Javelinas might be that team because Dano's getting hot right now. Back-to-back 3-run home runs, back-to-back games. So, hey, you know what? That's the other thing that McChrystal says. It doesn't matter how you get the job done. You just get the job done. And that's what, Tito's message is for the most part as well. 83 wins. You know what? The Cardinals won the World Series in 2006 with 83 wins. So, shout out to them for being –
the D-backs got there with 84 in 2023.
Yeah. So you just got to get in to win, and you just got to have the right combination of guys get hot at the right time, because baseball is a kind of a difficult sport to win, because it could just a ball could, kick off a guy's shoe, and then that ends up turning the game. And all of a sudden, you go from potentially winning a series to losing a series, or whatever it may be. It's just a random.
The first time in a ballpark's history where a ball gets stuck underneath the outfield wall, maybe, or something like that, and all of a sudden, you can win a game, and it turns the whole series.
Yeah, shout out to Blue Jays, man. They got they had 2 chances to win at home. That's all I got.
That exact play happened for the Blue Jays in Cincinnati this year. I don't know if you remember when the Blue Jays were in town in September.
No,
it was we had the chance to walk it off. And I believe it was TJ Friedel hit a ball into the right field corner, and it got wedged in between the bullpen gate and the padding. And the guy in the outfield grabbed it, threw it in, and then they went to replay, and replay overturned it and said that it should have been.
I do remember that. That's right. They overturned it.
The next batter was Marte, and he singled at the middle, and it didn't matter. We still won the game. But the fact is, the Blue Jays effectively benefited from the same call. They still lost the game, but it was also a bases loaded situation. It was a difficult situation. But I wanted to get back. This is the last thing I wanted to talk about with Tito. This was the quote we got from Ryan. We asked him about Tito, and he said, "Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for the future of the Reds organization." This is when we talked about him, will the Reds win in our lifetime? Which is a very fun question.
You ask everybody that question.
And he said, "Yeah, I'm very, very excited for the future of the Reds organization. I think just like the way Terry Francona is going about things and making everybody realize that, winning is very possible and we can win, as who we are. It doesn't matter how you get the job done as long as you get the job done." And I think, take away, maybe you can teach an old dog new tricks, and maybe he can get a little bit more involved with some analytical stuff. But guys want to play for that kind of manager. And if you can get guys that want to play for them, you can get guys that can win games. And then that's how you become an effective manager. And that's just my opinion.
You guys are doing really well right at the moment. I don't think it has anything to do with me, but I don't know if you've looked at your stats, but you got quite a few people with you right now live. And this is a day where you guys don't usually do the podcast on this day, right?
No.
Yeah. This was a non-scheduled throw it up, and I was taking a nap when I got this text. Hey, can you come on tonight? And I'm like, oh well, I guess I can cut my nap short. Come on, I'm getting old, guys, but all right.
Yeah. We our off-season schedule has been a little bit all over the place. We appreciate all our fans and whatnot. We're really a podcast, and we try to get that out there. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, just like you can find Mike's show, Lights Out Podcast. It's in the whole
link
Apple,
tree.
like our podcast network. That's the word I was looking for. So like, check that out as well for Apple.
Football with cheese.
I've been trying to put up his stuff more because dude, football with cheese is taking off. I don't know if you've seen that stuff. So he's a real big Fire LaFleur guy. So that's getting the algorithm excited.
It's working because I've seen a lot of those takes on Twitter here recently, and it's a lot of him leading the way in that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
He was ahead of it. I think he wanted to fire LaFleur before the season started. Like that's how far back his going. He probably before that.
Speaking of being ahead of the curve, I don't know if you remember this, Roger, but I think I may have been one of the very first people to say Styles Stewart will be on the Reds this season.
Yeah, we clipped that. I think we gotta find some more clips on that. We were thinking of doing like a retrospective to find our best takes. I'm probably just gonna try to clip my worst takes because I don't know, Mike. I had a take that really bad, really quick. I was big on the River San Martin train.
That happened the next day.
We got waved. Next day.
Next day.
I was like, and then Buck Farmer too. Like I'm a big Buck Farmer guy coming back, and then all of a sudden Buck Farmer is like a free agent now, and I'm like, okay, all right, well I'll just let Ricky do all the good takes. I'll take.
No, I've had my share of bad takes.
Hey, when you put yourselves out there, though, that's what happens, right? You have good stuff and you have bad stuff, but neither one of you are afraid to put yourselves out there. So I applaud both of you for that. And I'm not sure if you saw this. I'm going to throw this out there real quick. Don't get upset with me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Even if you even get upset, I don't care. It's I don't know if you guys noticed or not. Did you notice we have a sponsor now, by the way, for All Gloves Off Sports Media? Did you see that?
I heard on your show you plugged in.
Our show on Battle Bites is what it is. Absolutely. It's basically jerky that has like muscle recovery and stuff in it. And they're going to be sending you guys some stuff because that's why I asked for you guys' addresses. So you'll be able to show it on the screen and promo it. One of the great things that I like about it is they always give 10% of their profit to the Wounded Warrior Foundation. So I'm big into that. I know you guys are too. And, I'm one of the first responders as well. So I love all that stuff. 26 grams of high quality protein. You got the low carb, clean ingredients. It's premium brisket. And like I said, 10% goes to the Wounded Warrior. They have Reaper flavor, the original flavor, and sweet spicy that they have out right now. Ooh. And here's the other thing. You guys, I'm telling you, I think it's going to be some good stuff, man. I'm really happy about getting this partnership with them. They actually launch in 2 days. So everything will be available. One of the great things, we're on the ground level of this company, right? So we got in, getting was good. And for those of you who are all listening to us, the plus 50 people you have right at the moment with you live, because I just put it out on my spot too. You can go and do the promo code All Gloves Off. Spell that out, All Gloves Off, and then the number 10 at the end. And everybody can get 10% off the order. And it's not like, you can only get it the first time. Nope. Every time you go to that link and you type in that code, you can get 10% off every time you go to that website and order their stuff. So we appreciate you being able to support them and support us in doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exciting stuff. Me and Roger in general, we're very new to this. We haven't made it a full calendar year. So, you've been doing this for a little while. So like you have some experience, but it is cool for, sponsorships to jump on board with all this stuff, because we're all trying to grow.
We have joined forces, right? The Red Hot Reds podcast is really taken off. I don't think you guys give yourselves enough credit. Our podcast has taken off as well. We've already talked about Cheese and his podcast taken off. So it's a lot better when you put three of them together and you can combine everything. It looks a lot better to prospective sponsors when you've got three things going on the same stuff and then they can get all of it sponsored. So for all of your fans out there, and I know there's tons of them, we're going to see this thing grow. And as it grows, we're going to get better stuff and we're going to add some more people to this. And it's all going to be great for you guys too, because everything that we do is going to have some kind of a discount to it for our fans. We're not just trying to get rich off of this, right? We're trying to help you guys out too.
Yeah, and I'll have some cool graphics made up for all the stuff for it too. So I'll think of some cool stuff to make for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys got any more hot takes in you for the 2026 Reds or this offseason or whatnot.
Nick Lodolo gets traded this offseason.
Okay, there we go. Right off the bat. But yeah, I don't know. It could, as long as it's not Hunter Green, I guess. Then
Brady Singer probably is more likely, but I think there's a chance that depending on who they could get in return, I think both could happen.
Yeah. Like I said, as long as it's not Hunter Green and we're not having a Nico
And
traded.
my only reasoning why, and I'll be quick on this, is there are guys coming back from injury next season, and there are guys coming up this season and potentially the year after. So we're going to see Brandon Williamson come back at some point. We're going to see Julian Aguilar come back at some point. He could be back this season.
Yeah.
Early on, he could be a spring training candidate. I did see that Brandon Williamson did kind of have a setback towards the end of the season. So I don't know if he needed another surgery or if he's just kind of like shut down. But Rhett Lauder is coming back. Chase Burns is going to have a longer leash. Like there's pitchers in the organization that could do effectively what at least Lodolo does. For Singer, it's a little bit harder for me just because he did come in and was the most reliable pitcher in the organization. He pitched every fifth game. But I could see one of those guys, if not both, being moved. And we do have breaking news. Duno did it again.
This guy. 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 6-1 Javelinas. Oh my goodness.
Put him in
So
Louisville.
it's Duno against the other team, just kind of all by himself.
Yes, he's doing all the damage for sure. And
Why are you doing? Just walk him. I would. I'd be like this. No, 4. Ain't gone. Go.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my final hot take of the show. It's those guys at some point.
So where's he going? Where is and the reason why I think he's going to get traded is because of who his agent is. The Reds don't seem to get along with super agent.
Is that Lodolo and Scott Boras?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the biggest reason. He probably goes to a decent team. I don't think he goes to like a New York or a Dodgers situation. There was some trade talks during the trade deadline where I think the Athletics were involved, and I think Brent Rooker was discussed. I don't know if it was discussed like officially, but I think there was some speculation that Rooker would be one of the guys that they would target in a Lodolo trade. But they're also going to want prospects, and I don't blame them. Singer probably doesn't get a very high return. Yeah, like Singer probably gets like some low level, like 18 or 19-year-old prospect kind of guys, unless you get the same kind of trade that we had for him, which was like the India for him, basically straight up, where you give somebody away who is in the final year of their contract and you get somebody back, and basically you flip it in the opposite direction. You get a hitter for a pitcher, but I don't think you get the kind of. You're probably going to get a better return than the Royals got, in my opinion. Like I don't think. Obviously, we saw how India was last year. I think you get a better hitter than India for Singer, but who knows? I mean, I could be wrong, and they could be on the Reds' playoff roster.
Yeah,
I like the Lodolo take though. I can honestly see that happening.
Yeah, and he's always got some sort of nagging injury that keeps him out from time to time, so you wouldn't miss that as well. But other than that, I don't know. You guys got anything else? Any other takes out there?
I got some more, but I'll save them for another show.
I think I'll sit out this round because I'm a little bit not been on a hot streak myself in terms of putting stuff out there.
If you want an extremely hot take that I just don't see likely, but I just want to say it, is CES doesn't make the Reds roster at all this year.
Yeah,
he's in a bad spot right now.
Yeah,
that's like my scorching hot take that like I'm okay to be wrong on that one, because like if I'm wrong, obviously he's going out there hitting like 25 home runs, but I don't like the way he's looked basically since he's got called up, and he's getting older, not been healthy. And then the one thing that worried me was every level he's hit until he got to the majors, right? And then he gets sent back down to AAA, and then he doesn't hit. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of concerning because Reese Hines goes from a terrible situation where struck out like 45% of the time, but then he goes down to AAA and just hits over 300. With CES, like his chase rate is so high. Like I think Red's Daily 4 posted a MLB at bat scorecard. He swung at a ball at his eyes. Like it was like here. And obviously he hit a grand slam the next pitch, but it's like you can't be a successful major league hitter if you're hitting, 10 home runs a season, but you're chasing it like a 70% clip. Like it's just not. And if he doesn't go into spring training and hit like 6 home runs, like I don't think he sniffs the Reds roster.
No, he's at a spot where he can play first and third. Both those spots are abundant.
Sal Stewart is a better hitter than CES, and potentially Cam Collier at some point next year. Like my take that I had a few episodes ago, Roger, was I think Collier could have a Sal Stewart type year next year because Sal Stewart last year, 2024 year, wasn't projected to do much in terms of like climbing. Like he was the 83rd ranked prospect on the top 100, and he dominated AA. And you see him climb that ranking. Manny Machado shouts him out in spring training, and then he goes to AAA, and then just gets better. And they kind of, I mean, if you don't call him up, like, are you even trying at that point? And I don't think it's likely, like, but I want to put the take out there that I think that he has that potential to do it, to where he could dominate AA, get promoted to AAA, let's just say in July, maybe end of July, and gets hot. And then the Reds find themselves in a situation, maybe somebody like Spencer Steer gets hurt or Gavin Lux gets hurt. And then you got to have Steer in left, and then you don't sign that big free agent bat that we're asking for. And you're relying on somebody like Cam Collier to come up and be that late end of the year spark to get you going.
Yeah, for sure. My hot take is the Javelinas are going to win the AFL championship.
Let's go. Let's go.
Just putting that out there.
Team MVP.
Yeah, Trevor Kunsel with the save. Let's go.
Oh, that'd be electric. We'll get him on the show after that one.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, yeah. Anything else for me, Mike? We really appreciate your time.
No, I'm going to give you one, right? So this was kind of out there a little bit, but you mentioned it, and I started looking at rosters while you guys were talking, and I'm like, I'm going to throw this out there, right? You guys, I think both of you know, Sal Stewart works out with Manny Machado in the offseason. They're really good friends, right? Yeah. So I could see Sal Stewart being traded to the Padres. So let's just throw it out there, right? Sal Stewart's going to go to the Padres. So it's going to be a package of a bunch of players, because if you remember, the Padres don't have much of a minor league system left because they've traded all their guys. Mm-hmm. And they could go to a system like the Reds and be like, okay, so we're going to trade you one of our really nice major league players, and we want a bunch of your prospects, right? So Stewart, Collier, Aguilar, give me a couple of these guys. And then for me, Jackson Merrill's got to be in that trade, though. I want that guy at that price. And here's the second part to it. I know there's a guy that's there that a lot of people don't like, that they think they signed into a really big contract and he's not really living up to that. So I think the Padres would force the Reds to kind of take that contract. That's Jake Cronenworth, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you a whole bunch of prospects. I'll give you 5 or 6 of them, right, to refill your system. And then I'll take Jackson Merrill and Jake Cronenworth from you.
Okay. Yeah. As much as we would hate to see Sal Stewart go, and a bunch of our prospects that we've been getting to know and whatnot, that would definitely be major league talent. We definitely need major league talent, major league power, as much as this organization keeps calling home runs miss hits. So we'll have to see.
Can they take the hitting coach in that package too?
Yeah, well, the
Reds hired another coach today. I don't even know who the guy is.
The guy from the Pirates.
The Pirates, right? Yeah. He was a minor league player for the Rangers back in the day. I don't think he ever made the major leagues as a player. but he's been a pretty solid. He's a pretty well respected pitching coach.
Well, he was in Pittsburgh and he was well respected. What?
Well, as much as we dog on the Pirates, they have some pretty good pitchers in that system. It's just everything else sucks for them.
Give me Brett
like
Strom.
I did see
if I'm picking a guy that's out there, give me Brett Strom in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Who's the other pitcher for the Pirates? That
Bubba Thompson?
No, the lefty.
Oh, dang.
Give me that guy. Give me that guy.
that guy. That guy with the left hand.
That guy
The guy
with
that's
the
going to be
left
traded
hand.
in the next couple of years. That guy. Yeah.
I'm most excited about Willie Harris being the third base coach. I'm hoping
I do like
like
that. I
that
like
move.
that a lot. I think that gets runners moving.
Yeah, and I think he won't get the same stick that J.R. House got, even though he's coming to your neck of the woods, Mike. To
And I like JR. He's good.
Yeah, but I feel like J.R. House got a bunch of criticism for certain times he sent guys and whatnot, but I don't know. We'll see. I think Willie Harris – Ryan McChrystal also spoke really highly of Willie Harris as well because he was with him in Daytona. So, like, that hopefully will be a great fit, and hopefully he stays with the organization because I know he's been working his way up from, like, minor league coach to all the way up to, where he's at now. He was with the Cubs for a bit and whatnot. So, shout out to him. Hopefully he gets to stay around, at least for the Reds, for a little bit.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you guys got nothing else, I think we'll end this show. Really appreciate it, Mike, you coming on, especially interrupting your nap and whatnot. So
I got an hour and a half in. I should be good.
You should be good. Okay, good. Don't have any double shifts coming up, do you?
I was supposed to work one today. I usually would not be available on this day, but there was some other stuff that happened, and not nothing that I really want to explain to everybody.
The
and
nap
it would
was
bore you
more
guys
important.
anyway. But I was available. I'm usually not on a Thursday, but today just happened to work out.
All right, that's
Good day
great. Works out
overall.
for us. Yeah. So we're really appreciative again, and like always, we'll sign off with the Go Reds.
All right, go Reds.
Go Reds.